If you're watching me right now, and you're a man over 65 who feels like his body just isn't responding the way it used to, I need you to listen very, very closely. Because what I'm about to reveal today could potentially give your body back 20 years of vitality. Just 3 months ago, a man I'll call Charles walked into my office, shuffling his feet. He had that exhausted look in his eyes, a look I've seen on hundreds of patients before him. "Doctor, I just can't do it anymore," he told me, his voice barely a whisper. And right then and there, I knew I had to share this secret. A secret that has transformed the lives of so many men just like him. My name is Dr. Olivia Grant, and after more than 20 years of specializing in men's health, I've uncovered something that most doctors won't tell you. The reason you're feeling less energy, less strength, and less response down there often has less to do with the number of candles on your birthday cake and more to do with what you're putting on your plate every single morning. Yes, you heard me right. Your breakfast could be actively robbing you of the vitality you thought was lost forever. Charles didn't believe me when I first told him. "But Doc," he interrupted, "I eat the same thing I've always eaten." And that, right there, is the problem. What we consider normal could be systematically dismantling our masculinity from the inside out. You see, a staggering number of men over 65 quietly accept that their erections aren't what they used to be. They resign themselves to that feeling of heaviness, that numbness in the groin, believing it's a lost battle against time. It's a silent epidemic. In fact, statistics from the CDC show that men in the United States are about 80% less likely than women to use a regular source of health care, meaning countless men are suffering in silence, thinking this is just a normal part of getting older. But modern science is showing us something entirely different, something that completely changes the rules of the game. As I was explaining this to Mike, another patient who came in shortly after Charles, he looked at me with total skepticism. Mike was a retired firefighter, a guy who had spent his life being strong and in control.
"Dr. Grant, I eat a healthy breakfast," he said defensively. "I have my coffee and a piece of toast every morning."
And that's the trap. What we've been told is healthy can be our worst enemy. That white toast you eat every morning, that coffee loaded with sugar, those seemingly harmless pastries or cookies you have with it, they are literally extinguishing your internal fire. But here's the most important part, and this is what transformed everything for Charles, for Mike, and for hundreds of men who have walked through my doors. Your body has an astonishing capacity to heal itself, to reclaim that vitality, that strength, that response you believe is gone for good. It just needs the right tools, and those tools are closer than you think. They're sitting in your kitchen right now. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. After the age of 60, we enter a natural process called sarcopenia. It's the gradual loss of muscle mass. But I'm not just talking about the muscles in your arms or your legs. There's a critical group of muscles that almost nobody mentions: the pelvic floor muscles. Think of these muscles as an internal hammock, a supportive sling that holds up your pelvic organs. And listen closely to this. They play a crucial role in erectile function. When these muscles weaken, the ability to achieve and maintain an erection decreases dramatically. A patient named Robert came to my office with this exact problem. "Doctor, I just don't feel anything anymore," he told me, with tears welling up in his eyes. "My wife and I, well, we just don't have that connection anymore." When I reviewed his diet, it all clicked into place. His daily breakfast consisted of a large donut, coffee with cream and 2 sugars, and sometimes a bowl of sugary cereal. He was literally sabotaging those vital muscles every single morning. What I discovered next was even more revealing. It's not just about muscle loss, it's about what's happening inside your arteries. Imagine your arteries are like garden hoses. Over the years, they can start to get stiff and hard. But it's not because of age, as most people believe. It's because of what flows through them. When you eat those breakfasts full of sugar and refined flours, it's like pouring liquid cement into those hoses. They gradually harden, they narrow, until blood can no longer flow freely. This is critical because proper blood flow is the absolute foundation of a healthy erection. Poor circulation doesn't just affect your heart, it affects every part of your body, especially the parts that rely on a surge of blood to function. This is why paying attention to your prostate health is also key. The American Cancer Society estimates that 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. And chronic inflammation and poor vascular health are contributing factors we can't ignore. And this brings me to the crucial molecule that changed everything for my patients: nitric oxide. Think of it as the master key to your circulation. It sends a signal to the walls of your blood vessels, telling them to relax, to open up, allowing a torrent of oxygen-rich blood to reach every corner of your body, especially the pelvic region. It's the very same principle that those famous little blue pills use, but you can achieve it naturally, without the side effects. If this is already an eye-opener for you, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you know a friend, a brother, or a father who needs to hear this, share this video with them. You could genuinely change their life just like it changed for Charles. Because what I'm about to reveal now are 5 specific, clinically observed breakfasts that can reactivate that nitric oxide production, strengthen those vital pelvic muscles, and give your body back the response you thought you'd lost. The first breakfast that transformed Charles's life is something so simple, you won't believe it. Greek yogurt with walnuts. But not just any yogurt. It has to be plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt. You see, Greek yogurt has nearly double the protein of regular yogurt, and that protein is the very building block your body uses to repair and build muscle, including those pelvic floor muscles we talked about. Charles looked at me with disbelief when I suggested it. "That's it, Doc? Just yogurt and nuts?" But let me explain the power of this combination. Walnuts aren't just any nut. They are the kings of vascular health. They're loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, which are incredibly potent natural anti-inflammatories. But here's the best part. They also contain L-arginine, an amino acid that your body converts directly into nitric oxide. 1 month later, Charles came back to my office with a grin I hadn't seen in years. "Doctor, not only do I feel more energy during the day," he said, "but," and here he lowered his voice with a bit of shyness, "my performance in our private moments has improved in a way I never expected. My wife is happy and well. I feel like I've gotten 10 years of my life back." It wasn't magic. He had simply stopped weakening his body in the morning and started building it up instead. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition proved that adequate protein intake in older adults is directly linked to better physical function. By giving your body this high-quality protein first thing in the morning, you're providing the raw materials to strengthen that crucial pelvic sling from the moment you wake up. Now let me tell you about the second breakfast, the one that Mike, the retired firefighter, called his circulatory awakening. It's a simple omelet, but not just any omelet, a spinach and mushroom omelet. Think of this as your personal, all-natural nitric oxide power plant. Mike came to me with constantly cold hands and feet. He felt a persistent heaviness in his legs, and that lack of circulation was reflected in other, more intimate aspects of his life. When I explained the power of spinach, he was shocked. "Doc, but spinach is just a vegetable." "Ah, but what a vegetable! Spinach is one of the richest dietary sources of nitrates. When you eat spinach, your body converts those natural nitrates into nitric oxide. Remember that molecule I told you about? The one that opens up your arteries? Well, spinach is like a natural factory for it. And when you add mushrooms, you potentiate the effect even further. Mushrooms contain a unique antioxidant called ergothioneine, which, according to research published in the journal Nature, helps protect your cells from oxidative stress. It's like giving your arteries a protective shield while you're opening them up at the same time. 2 weeks later, Mike called me, his voice full of excitement. "Doctor, not only are my hands warm for the first time in years, but I'm noticing a sensation, a responsiveness down below that I thought age had stolen from me forever. It's like my body was asleep, and it's finally waking up." His body simply needed the right ingredients to reactivate its own internal pharmacy.
The third breakfast is something that surprises many of my patients: a mixed berry smoothie. Yes, a simple smoothie. But let me explain why it's so powerful. A while ago, a patient said something that stuck with me. "Doctor, I feel like I'm rusting from the inside out." He couldn't have described it better. Stress, pollution, and especially a diet rich in processed foods generate a phenomenon in our bodies called oxidative stress. It's as if your arteries are literally rusting on the inside, becoming rigid, brittle, and narrow. This is where berries come in. Strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. These little jewels of nature are one of the most concentrated sources of antioxidants you can consume. Are any of these ideas resonating with you? Let me know in the comments below which one you might try first. I read every single one. Peter was a special case. He'd been a smoker for a large part of his life. He came to my office with varicose veins, perpetually cold feet, and a lack of sensation that had him deeply worried. He started having this smoothie every morning: a handful of frozen mixed berries, a bit of water, and a tablespoon of chia seeds. 3 weeks later, he told me the tingling in his legs had noticeably decreased. But most importantly for him, he had started to regain sensation in areas he thought were dormant forever. Multiple studies, including a well-known one from Harvard University, have linked the regular consumption of these flavonoids, the compounds that give berries their color, in better cardiovascular health and a significant reduction in the risk of erectile dysfunction. Why? Because they act like a true cleanup and protection crew. They neutralize free radicals, reduce inflammation in the arterial walls, and help keep them flexible and elastic. This leads me to the fourth breakfast, one that transforms a classic into a health powerhouse: whole grain toast with avocado and ground flaxseed. I know what you're thinking. Avocado? But doctor, that's full of fat. And that's the mistake so many people make. Avocado does have fat, yes, but it's one of the healthiest fats on the planet. Lewis, who was 75, was very concerned about his cholesterol and blood pressure. His breakfast was coffee with milk and sweet cookies. I proposed this change, and at first, he thought it was kids' food. Today, he wouldn't trade it for anything. Avocado is rich in monounsaturated fats, the same beneficial type found in olive oil. These fats help lower bad LDL cholesterol,
the kind that forms plaque in your arteries and clogs them up. But here's the master stroke: freshly ground flaxseed. Flaxseed is one of the richest plant-based sources of omega-3s and compounds called lignans. Both are incredibly potent at reducing systemic inflammation. And remember, chronic inflammation is the silent enemy of arterial health. By fighting it every morning, you're creating an internal environment that promotes healthy circulation. One day, Lewis confessed to me with a mischievous grin, "Doctor, this breakfast isn't just good for the heart, it's good for a man's morale." He understood the connection perfectly. What's good for your heart is excellent for your intimate life. He not only saw an improvement in his blood work, but told me he felt a much more stable energy throughout the entire day. Finally, our fifth element, and perhaps the most surprising, isn't a solid food, but a beverage that prepares your body for healing from the very first sip: a turmeric and ginger infusion. Robert, at 77, suffered not only from low energy, but also from joint pain in his knees and hands. He felt his body was stiff and old. I suggested he start each morning with this infusion: a thin slice of fresh ginger, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, and a pinch of black pepper to enhance absorption. Turmeric, with its active compound curcumin, and ginger, with its gingerols, are two of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories that exist. The Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine has published numerous studies confirming their effectiveness. After 2 weeks, Robert not only noticed an improvement in his joints, but also commented on something that surprised him. He felt more overall vitality, an effect that was also positively reflected in his intimate life. By reducing inflammation throughout his entire system, he not only soothed his knees, but also reawakened his arteries. It's like giving your body an internal anti-inflammatory shower every single morning. Look, Charles is now playing soccer with his grandkids, something he hadn't done in 10 years. Mike got that spark back in his eyes that his wife had missed so much. Robert sent me a photo from Cancun with his wife, celebrating what he called their second honeymoon. Peter began to feel again. And Lewis? Well, Lewis says he feels better now than he did at 50. They all have one thing in common. They decided not to give up. They decided that age is just a number. So, what are you going to decide? Are you going to keep blaming the years, or are you going to take back control? You've made it this far, and that proves to me that you take your health seriously. You're not the same person who started watching this video. You now have knowledge. You have 5 powerful, natural tools. But let me tell you something. Knowledge without action is just stored information. Real change happens when you decide to take the first step. And I want you to take that step today. Not tomorrow, not next Monday. Today. I know what you're thinking. Doctor, it's hard to change lifelong habits. I get it. But I'm not asking you to change everything. I'm asking you to make one change. Think about your breakfast tomorrow morning. What are you going to choose? The same old sugary cereal? Or are you going to try the power of Greek yogurt with walnuts? That lonely cup of coffee? Or a spinach omelette that will awaken your circulation? You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. Choose one of these 5 breakfasts and commit to trying it for 1 week, just 7 days. Give your body a chance to respond. Remember this, the first hour after you wake up is the most crucial moment of the day for your circulatory system. It's when your body is most receptive. This is your opportunity to break the cycle of inflammation and start building stronger blood flow. Don't waste it. Age doesn't have to be a sentence. It doesn't take away your strength, your vigor, or your masculinity. It only takes away what you decide to surrender. And today, you've learned that you don't have to surrender feeling good. Change is possible. It's within your reach. It's literally on your plate. Your body is waiting. It's ready to respond. It just needs you to take that first step. I want you to make a commitment right now to yourself. To make sure you don't miss the next step in this journey, click that subscribe button and, more importantly, ring that notification bell. In my next video, we're going to talk about the 3 simple exercises you can do in just 5 minutes a day to supercharge these results. You won't want to miss it. The decision is yours, but your body, your vitality, and your life are waiting for you.